Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Alt Press in Session. My name is Anna Zanes, and I'm the Editor-in-Chief of AP. I'm really excited about this one. We've got Ian Shelton from Militarie Gun here to talk about their new record, God Save the Gun. We had a super honest conversation about making emotion-forward music, pushing yourself to never do the same thing twice, sobriety, and what it actually means to let yourself be happy, which for Ian and myself hasn't always come easy. We also get into the surprising connection he has to the film Little Miss Sunshine and how the movie kind of sums up the spirit of the band. Dark, messy, human, still trying to find a way to win. Let's get into it. This is Alt Press in Session with Ian Shelton of Militarie Gun. Thanks.
Thank you.
That's wholesome.
Yeah. I mean,
so this is your first day off.
Not really. Yeah. I performed already today. So yeah.
Damn.
No days off yet. We have a show tomorrow and then the next day off.
Does the jacket come off on your proper days off or no? Never.
I'm run cold. And so I guess like I have a really low resting heart rate. And so like I don't really sweat. Like it's a freak occurrence. So it just doesn't bother me. You know, like in the summer, I still wear a hoodie pretty much all the time. But I don't know.
I remember because I messaged you when I interviewed Liam Gallagher because I was like, really wanted to talk to him about parkas.
Yeah.
And you were saying something about how it's also like an endurance thing.
Yeah. It's like, I started doing it in RJC because people would look at the drumming and singing as being like, how do you do that? And then I'm like, well, what if you also add a really taxing element on top of it? Yeah. So I always want to add like a point of tension with the audience because everyone's wondering, like, is he gonna take it off? He's got to take it off. I'm hot right now and I'm wearing a t-shirt, you know? And then I'm like, not.
Tension. That's good. I mean, I feel like that's normally something that like, not to draw a corny line now, but like permeates all of your music.
Yeah, definitely tension is a huge part of it. And I mean, it was egged on in the RJC days, people would be like, we had a bet, you know? And I'm like, I want someone to lose that bet, you know, of like me go the opposite way than they think, which is almost always the way I'm thinking of like, what can I do that's the opposite of what someone would think I would do? And then I'm also upset when someone's like, I didn't think you would do that. You know, it's this weird thing of this push-pull within myself of like not feeling understood.
Yeah.
But
I understand that too. I think there's like, for me, there's like terminal uniqueness.
Yeah.
Element where I'm like, I want to be so different and always do things that are different and that people will talk about.
Yeah, it goes back. I mean, like I'm thinking about like when I first got into punk music, like I was fully street punk, you know, like I wore plaid pants. I had a pink backpack. I had, you know, like I dressed like absolute dog shit. But it was to cause a reaction. And then I would feel so self-conscious in anticipation of the reaction. And so it's this weird thing of like, why didn't I just wear what I was actually comfortable in? And that's kind of where I'm at now with I just like wear what I like.
Yeah.
And it's not as much with the like trying to grab people's attention with what the item is, but definitely.
But I guess that's part of like growing as a person and becoming more intelligent and creative and like honing your craft, because then the work itself.
Well, I've learned that like if there's anything that makes me feel self-conscious, like in a creative environment, I'm not actually creative. If there's any single thing, like if I'm wearing the wrong shoes, if I'm wearing like, I can't go out on stage without being like, I will not regret this.
So wait, are you saying you need to be uncomfortable?
No, I need to be comfortable in a creative atmosphere. Like where it's like on stage, like I bought a pair of shoes before the tour and I was like, and someone said to me like when I walked in, it's actually like, oh, those are crazy. And I'm like, take them off, put them back in the van.
Oh,
you know,
I identify with that so much.
You know, it just too self-conscious. It's funny. Yeah. It's just like that tension of like, you obviously want attention.
Yeah.
And then when you get it, you're like, fuck this. I hate this.
Well, what is it they say? Like, I mean, I'm also like, I'm a sober person as well. I mean, and so like there's a lot of things that are coming to my mind. It's like being the greatest piece of shit in the universe and like things like that, where it's like there's this self-consciousness and like hyper self-awareness, but also wanting everyone to look at you.
Yeah. Well, I only want people to look at me when I feel like I have something to say. That's like, people have asked me about like my girlfriend or whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't put my personal life on the internet. Like that's not something I do. Everything that I do for the most part is presentational in some sort of way, where it's about like, I've prepared a statement for you. It's not like, I'm not trying to just say stuff randomly as much. I try to be intentional at the very least. I also do have a podcast where we talk about absolutely nothing. So it runs counter to what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's a lot of counters. I mean, because the album is super vulnerable. So there's that too. But you did spend a long time.
But I was prepared to say those things, and I'm prepared to talk about them because I truly mean those things. So it's not an uncomfortable thing. And sometimes interviewers will be like, oh, if you don't want to talk about it, I'm like, I made a record about it. Like, of course I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about it because other people are going through the same thing and haven't found the way to articulate it. You know, like we use the clip of David Cho talking about Anthony Bourdain in our clip on our record because I'd never had those words to articulate that idea, and his words changed my perspective on suicide, and it gave me a way to talk about it in a way that I had never thought about before.
When did you hear that for the first time?
Probably like 2020 or something, you know, like watching a lot of I'm really fascinated by David Cho. I think he's so interesting, and it's always fun when, you know, I think a lot of the artists I like write a line of like the cancelableness of them. You know, people come from, when beef happened, people came for him over things he said on a podcast. And obviously he's just lived a very flawed life, and I'm very attracted to flawed people. I'm a flawed person, and I really hate the idea that we're not meant to make mistakes. And I feel like everyone's really fronting and pretending that they haven't made mistakes and that they haven't hurt people and they haven't done things that puts them on the line to be canceled. I've done it. I think everyone's done it. And so I just love artists like that. I love artists that cause a conflict in myself of like rationalizing their actions. Like Sun Kill Moon is one of my favorite artists of all time. And he was one of the first artists that it actually became difficult to listen to after all of that stuff, because it made the perspective of which the original art was created seem like a lie. So it no longer, like, because what I liked about it was the honesty. And then when he's telling a story about a girl, and then the girl comes forward with her story about the same encounter, and it's like completely different, you're like, well, what else is to be believed about this thing? And that's also why I'm trying to air myself out. Like, I want people
getting ahead of it,
listen to our records, to know that I've made mistakes, that I have hurt people. Like, that is important. That's the first thing you should know, is that like, I have lived a life of conflict, and therefore it's resulted in me having conflicting opinions about my own behavior.
It's fascinating too, because I was trying to think about it in like the canon of music about addiction and mistakes and things like that, and it really has its own space, because it's not glorifying, but it doesn't feel entirely self-deprecating, even though you're being very honest.
Never looking for pity. Never. That's like the most important part. And I think that it's because I try to make sure there's like no level of irony to it. There's no level of, obviously there's angles that I could still come up with to address whatever it is, but it's like, I brought this on myself and I have to dig myself out of it. Like, that's like, I have to do the work. It's not on anyone else to pick me up and do. No, that's the whole point of the record. No one can do the work for you. That's it. Like, you fucked up, you got to come back from it.
So the timeline of making the record, because I'm like reading interviews and things like that, and so you started writing the record before you had this kind of like moment of realization about what it was about.
I mean, the moment of realization was basically the day that recording started.
So from there, like, what shifted? Did you go in and you changed?
No creative. No. All the words were already there. that was the thing. It was specifically once God Save the Gun, the song was either that or Wake Up and Smile were the last songs written. And it was just like, I guess I had the lyric written down that if you want to keep your life, you got to let it go. I had it written down, but it wasn't like on the demo. But it was like that song was trying to evoke the feeling of like being at a party where you're like yacked up and like trying to give people life advice, where it's like, none of us know what's going on. We all know we're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And yet here I am trying to tell you how to live your life. Like, that's fucked up. And so trying to approach the song from that perspective and then ending it on that note is like, no, like that means that I have to exit the party. And like the earliest version of that idea was like Fill Me With Paint and Kick and some other songs that haven't been released yet were all originally like a concept album with Daisy, where it was, the whole idea was being trapped at a party. Like that was like Tall People Don't Live Long was on it. And that record, like in the back half, had this song called Leaving the Party in it. And it was like the lyrics like I want to kill myself on a good day. Like it's all like the emotional arc is very similar, except for half of it was from James's perspective and half of it was from my perspective. But that kind of that sense of being at the party but needing to leave was already there like 3 years ago when we started. Like those songs happened. We finished recording Life Under the Gun in February of 2022, and March, April, May is like Kick, Fill Me With Paint, Tall People Don't Live Long. Like all those songs happened right then.
Wow.
So it was like that. It was the early, but it's still kind of the same thing in a lot of ways, even though the intention of it got more refined, which is basically only due to like looking at it, like just looking at the sum total and being like, oh shit,
what's this trying to say?
Yeah, like that. I just had to pay attention to what I'd been trying to tell myself, essentially, which sounds corny, but
no, it doesn't. I mean, I'm just like, that's such a deep level of denial. I'm impressed.
Yeah. Well, I'm a very dramatic person. And so
comes with the territory.
Yeah. All artists are dramatic. And, I'm just always feel like I'm going through it no matter how great things should be. I'm dwelling on what's going wrong. I'm dwelling on what someone said that's negative about me. I'm dwelling on all those things. And so I'm continually perpetuating my own melodrama to live in, which is very fruitful to create from, but I'm also just robbed of happiness at every single moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, it was just looking at it. And, I over a year ago was like when I first started like trying to quit alcohol, and I would be like, get through a tour. And then it'd be like the last day is like, I'm going to celebrate by getting drunk, like I did it. I went 20 days without alcohol. And then that cycle just starts all over again. So the denial was definitely there, but it was a thing where I knew that I had to stop, but you don't want to.
Trust me, I get it.
I miss drinking more than anything.
Yeah.
Like I love it. Like
yeah, that's
it's
why we do it.
unfortunate what I chose to do with it.
Yeah.
To take it away from myself.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It's like the melodrama of like keeping yourself in misery. Like that's very similar to that cycle.
Yeah. Well, it is depressant. So it makes you more miserable. So, but it's just like, I feel like it's a cycle I've been in my whole life. And I'm the next thing I want to figure out is how to write about happiness. Not like in a like pop punk, like lame ass way, but I want to figure out how to achieve happiness for the first time in my life, of like things are really great. How do I actually embrace them instead of telling myself how terrible everything is?
Yeah.
And how do I step into a new phase, like creatively?
Well, it's a question that I've asked people before. It's like, I think we're like already answering it, but as a topic, like, does all great art require pain?
Yeah.
which, yeah, it seems
It
like
does.
the
No, it
consensus
100%
is,
does, I
yeah,
think.
but do you need to be in pain to create it, or can you be reflecting on pain from a different place?
Well, that's something that's the record straddles the line of, because like, you know, kind of the God Owes Me Money is so much about the past, and it's using such specific images that play on a loop in my head that I had to see, and it's about the past. I could write that song at any point. I wrote it for RJC, basically. There's an RJC song called Amnesia, and the chorus of it is Remember Forget. So I was already playing with that concept like in like 2017. And so I could write that at any point, but I wrote it at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I think it requires pain, and it's also, there's an embrace of like, if that's what it takes, maybe some things are better left, in a way where I'm cool with it. Like, if we can't make something better than God Save the Gun, we won't ever release another record.
Right.
Like,
I saw that you said like you don't ever want to write the same song or do the same thing.
No, and it isolates people, and that's like, there's a lot of pressure in that. Someone asked me the other day about they're like, how do you like? Do you think it's weird when people get tattoos of the band's lyrics? And I don't think it's weird. I love it. But what I said, I was like, what happens if we make a record you hate? Are you going to be ashamed of that tattoo then? Or will it be about the moment and what that song means to you? As long as you feel like that can stay regardless of what we're making, because we're not going to sit still. Like, we're going to make, on a long enough timeline, we'll isolate everybody. And that's just something that I embrace.
Well, okay, so like obviously like AFI is on my mind all the time, but that's a band that has isolated a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because every era is totally different. He looks totally different.
Yeah.
He sounds totally different. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like how it depends how people consume music. Like, is it a sum of its parts or?
Yeah. Well, I do think it's about the time and place of when you're receiving it. Like, you know, I think the Glow On moment was so massive because the world was opening back up, and so many people's first communal experiences post-pandemic was the Glow On and TLC tours.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't ever take away that tactile, like, memory that you have of those moments. And I think about all the records that I felt that way, and like, even artists that I love, which I won't say any names because I would never want to make it seem like I don't enjoy someone's new record, but like an artist I love that released one of my favorite records of all time 2 years ago, I'm not in the same headspace to receive their new music. I'm not as eager right now. And so the new record's not clicking for me right now, but I'm like, bookmark, I know it's great, but I'm not obsessed with it because I'm not in the same headspace I was when that last record came out.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah. That makes sense. Also, I know that you've said, and I can hear it, especially in this one, that it's like very human music.
Yeah.
And it's connecting with that, like very kind of like emotional, corporal, like human experience. And if you're just kind of following your gut there, and your next challenge is to get happy and then write about happiness, like, I don't see how there is a world where you would make the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the goal.
I mean,
you know,
human
like,
experience is just all about change.
Yeah. And I love shedding my skin, you know, like this whole process was shedding skin. And I don't know if it's about like getting happiness and writing about happiness. I think that I would tackle it in a much more bleak, cynical way.
I'm sure you would. I definitely don't see that happening in such stark terms.
Yeah.
But and also, so this album, you worked with a lot of different people. There's a different band in
Not
a lot
a different
of ways.
band. No,
Different lineup.
It's David Stallsworth. He kind of was like the first piece of like actually getting the lineup of the band. You know, for a long time we had people who were in other bands, and we were constantly having to get fill-ins. So it was like we were treading water for a really long time of like not actually being able to practice to get better as a band. You know, like when we recorded Life Under the Gun, there was 2 band practices before we recorded that album. Like it was just the demos I made, 2 band practices, and then the record is exactly what's on the demos. Like there was no time to change anything. We didn't have the ability to do it because we didn't have the lineup to do it. It was a great lineup and such talented musicians, but the schedules didn't work.
Right.
And it was kind of like getting to the point of like, how do we actually make this the band it needs to be? And David Stallsworth joined the band. His first tour with us was like November of 2023. So he's been around for a while. And then Kevin Kiley's been playing with us since summer of 24. So not a new band. Will and Waylon. Waylon's been playing with us since the first tour. Will is the only other person besides myself who played on the first EP. So it's like not a new band, but it's like we solidified what the band needed to be and got I think the objective right people to do it. So it feels great in that way, but I hate the lineup stuff. It's a point of contention.
I know. I feel like I had to ask. But and then in terms of production, working with Riley
McIntyre.
And so like I know that there's a lot that's said about the way that he connects with emotions and like the space that he allows artists. Yeah. And I'm like really fascinated by different producers' approach to things. Like I always think about there's like a Broken Record episode where like Rick Rubin is talking about Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, all the John Frusciante episodes are incredible.
All of the Red Hot Chili, those are amazing. All of the Chili Peppers episodes. And they talk about all the different producers they've worked with and like how some feel like they need to put their stamp on it and some step back and just let the artists do what they need to do. And so this experience, doing something so vulnerable, working with Riley, what was that like? And what does it mean that he was emotional and allowed space?
Well, it was having so many producer meetings, like talking to people about like doing the record and stuff. It was just nobody talked about the emotion. You know, like the thing that's the most important to me was the thing that not one person besides Riley talked about. You know, everyone was talking about the guitars being loud and it's a band live in a room. And like we recorded the record, a band live in a room, but like that was not some fetishistic like bullshit rock term. It was just like a function of the recording process. And, you know, Riley went in unafraid of pretension. And that was super important to me because he was like, what movies does this feel like? What is there a painting you think it sounds that it feels like? You know, like things that are like, if you're not in the headspace for that question or if you're not the right person, you're like, you're fucking lame, dude. Like, but to me, I loved it. I think in filmmaking terms more than I think in musical terms. Like a song like Daydream, I was like, we're starting in close in a bedroom. And then you pull out and you realize it's a bedroom set on a stage and there's an orchestra, you know, like I'm talking in terms like that. And I'm describing music video ideas to him as we're going through the process, like to convey what I'm seeing in my head. And that's coloring in things for him. And he just actually is a truly emotional person and became such a great friend so immediately. And, that was just so important to me to, again, like talking about the self-consciousness and creativity, like I knew that we wouldn't have any of that with him. It wasn't going to be the assembly line, get it done, move on to the next thing. It was indulging the whim at every moment and like to the point that I'm the one calling it, of being like, I think we're done, guys. Like, I think we got it, move on. And they're like, no, we're going to get, you know, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to leave for a minute then. But yeah, he just was emotional, you know, and it was a very emotional process. And David, who's here with me right now, he was just a super important part of that process too, of, you know, he listened to our demos once and he didn't listen again. And he would be like, I remember in the demo feeling more hit by this lyric. I don't think you sang it right.
That's brilliant, actually, to just listen to the demo.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was just like, it was about just keeping true to the intention of the song, and everything had to be the intention of the song. Like even down to the point of like at the end of I Won't Murder Your Friend, our drummer was not excited about the drum distortion. And I was like, no, but you're broken during this part. Like it's like the guitar solo, like as we were recording it, like he's such a talented guitar player, was kind of going to a real solo, and it was like, no, dude, the guitar is crying. It's not a solo. It's like everything was so like stonewall about the emotional element of it. Like it was the forefront of everything.
Have you always been like that in a creative sense, or was it just like you really tapped into it this time? Because that's so, it almost like reminds me of like some sort of like synesthesia, like the way that you're talking about like thinking in music videos, thinking in like emotions connected to sounds.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I mean, yes and no. I've definitely always had a visual mind when it comes to music and things like that, and that's how I got into music video directing. But it's because when you start, you're barely surviving in the studio. It's like, how do we get the drums recorded in time? You know, you don't have the capability to think this way. You're just trying to commit it and get a good take. And when you're young, that's a struggle, you know? And so I think this is the first record where we had the time to do it, where every song was approached as its own piece. You know, it wasn't like we didn't record multiple songs at a time. It was like maybe barrel through like 2 songs instrumentally and then like get into the nitty gritty on one song until it's done and walk away from it if it's not right and come back to it the next day. And no, I don't know.
What about the writing? Like, what is that process for you? I mean, that's like literally my least favorite question I ever ask people. I don't know how to phrase it in a more interesting way, but like, I'm so curious, genuinely.
It's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. Like, and the songs get next to no revisions. Like it's, because the thing that I care about the most is following intuition. So if you find yourself thinking, you've taken a wrong turn. So it's about letting it fall out, and if it doesn't fall out, you walk away. Right.
So you were talking about being intentional, but also following intuition.
Well, there's intent. It is hard because there is a contradiction there, but it's like the intuition is the ultimate, you know. It's like there's so many more songs that we wrote for the record that didn't make it, so that's where the intentionality comes in versus the intuition. Because if it was the intuition, this song would have been 25 songs long, and it's not. It's 13 real songs or whatever. So it's like it's about refining later, but like the songs pretty much stay the same. Like the song that took the biggest turn was I Won't Murder Your Friend, just because it used to end at the sound clip. It used to just end with the crying, and then the song was done. And then Riley was very intent on like, the song needs to release the anger that you feel, because he's like, I feel upset every time I get to the end of the song, and then you just push me into another song. And he's like, we need to release that anger. And the idea of that part existing is like antithetical to everything I do musically. I sing over almost every second of every song. So a large instrumental passage is like not something I do naturally.
Yeah.
And he pushed it there, and it was the right, that was great producing on his part. You know, like that part delivers the message, I think.
But I mean, that also takes like an extreme amount of trust too, because like he's like talking about your feelings.
Yeah, yeah. But he's saying the way he's saying his feelings too, like that. Yeah. Like his feeling was, I relate to this, and I feel upset, and I don't feel like you've paid off on why I'm upset.
That's awesome.
Yeah. If that's why he's the guy. I love Riley and everyone on earth. If you actually make like music that has a heart to it and not just making records just cause, like, he is the guy.
How do you feel about it now that it's out?
I feel great. I mean, the record release day was truly one of the most overwhelming days of my life. And that was largely because I felt understood. I think now that's changed. Now I don't feel so understood as much, as anything that happens with gaining attention.
Right.
You're going to gain the opposite as well. But I felt understood. I felt like people really got where the record was coming from, and getting on day one, night of the record being released, getting DMs from people about what it meant to them was just like, all right, like I found my people. Like that's what it really felt like. And that's something I've always struggled with. Like, I was just talking to Kevin from Public Opinion about it, but like, him and I grew up being like bullied in hardcore, and like now we're like the poster child for like ruining hardcore or whatever. And it's like, this is what I've always been like. And it just, to feel understood is so difficult. I feel like that is an unreplicatable thing. You can't just be understood.
Yeah.
Like nobody just gets that, and for at least that one day,
yeah,
I felt understood. And that was really overwhelming. And it's also really overwhelming to know how much other people are struggling. And I think like, Pat Flynn gets it a lot, of Jeremy from Touche Amore gets it a lot. When you put yourself out there, people put themselves out there to you back, and it can be really taxing, but it's really worth it. To be like, we've been through this same thing, Were
you expecting that?
I wasn't expecting it so soon. I thought people would need more time with it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think, I do try to say that, like, I think that I try to paint with a hammer, like it's about being blunt. It's about not hiding. Like, I don't try to bury it in poetry. I try to be as direct as possible. And again, so I could be understood. Right. And, but at the same time, like, you just don't anticipate people actually paying attention to lyrics in a way,
right. That's true. I mean, I definitely identified heavily with it, and it's intense, and the lyrics are so good.
Thank you.
I think they are extremely poetic, even though they are blunt.
Well, you don't want to, but yeah, you don't want to bury it. But again, that comes like out of intuition. Like, I think back to writing God Owes Me Money, and I'm just like, I don't know where any of it came from. Like, it feels like a fugue state of just like, I went in with nothing, and then 2 hours later I came out and we had that. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where that bridge came from. Like, and like, I would say that as far as like actual like poetry in quotes, the bridge of that is like the closest, like saying like what the fuck are the lyrics to this song? Post-traumatic feels too dramatic. You're lucky your memory's just static. Burn too bright in my eyes. And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I think that music is a religious experience. And like, it's hard because you sound corny, and I'm like, I don't even write that. Like, that's how I feel. Like, it's like, I didn't write that. That just like, that's something that everyone feels. And so it came to me like that. I do think that that's a huge part of the religious experience of music, is that I think for a period of time, you're allowed access to this like cosmic pool where I think everyone is fishing from. And like, you think of so many great artists who had it one day and then didn't have it. And to me, it's like, oh, you abused it. You got kicked out of the club and you're not allowed at the cosmic pool anymore. That's what it feels like, because it just seems to mysteriously vanish.
It does.
It's like you lost track of what was actually keeping you there, and therefore you're not allowed anymore.
Well, that's like the losing humility.
Yeah.
And they say, I mean, like, when your ego gets big, it like, what is it? Ego stands for edging God out.
Oh, I like that. I never heard that.
Yeah. So that kind of, I do feel like that happens.
Yeah. It feels very real to me. The more that I like have studied like all the artists I love and like heyday periods and fall off periods and all that. Like definitely ego's a huge part of it. And that's one of the difficult things with trying to achieve happiness is like, obviously I have an ego to whatever degree because I'm comfortable standing up on a stage and saying my shit. But I go to bed every night thinking about people who hate me. You know, like I am thoroughly humbled every day. And it's like, how do I maintain happiness? How do I get to happiness? First step, lose that shit. Then does ego come in a bad way? You know, it's like, is that what keeps me tethered? Is the thinking about hatred all the time? Is that the essential part of the process? Do I have to do this for the rest of my life? Am I willing to do it for the rest of my life? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you'll find out.
Yeah, well, or not, or I'll just stay in the same doom cycle constantly.
No, I think it like that sheds with all the skin that, you know.
I'm praying for it because I'm going insane.
Takes time. I mean, I think also getting sober, it's like there's a level of pain that also comes that's different. Yeah. With like being like you're sitting with all of the stuff.
Yeah. Which I was already. It wasn't like I didn't, because I indulged the darkness. Mm-hmm. You know, like I would get drunk and think about everything that I went through. You know, it'd be like, and a song like Kick is what emerges out of that, where it was like, that song was like learning the wrong lesson. Like looking back and learning the wrong lesson is it was like, nah, I should be more fucked up. You're lucky I'm only as bad as I am, because everyone I know that grew up even similar to this is way worse off than I am, you know? And that's something I really grapple with is like, why am I here when others who have identical situations, you know, like down to my brother, you know, like it's very heavily explored in Regional Justice Center of like, I'm going off and thriving in the world and my brother was in prison. Like why is that? Why am I allowed to thrive? Why is everyone else not allowed to thrive? Why did it work for me? And there's a huge amount of guilt in that. And it's I don't know, it's just something that I get stuck on a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the guilt and the shame are, I feel like, the stickiest.
Shame about success is a very bizarre thing that people like cannot talk about.
It's so real. I have been talking about this with my therapist a lot.
Yeah.
There's like this thing that has been explained to me where it's like, I have an internal dialogue that tells me I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's been going my whole life. And when good things happen in my life, like as a result of work I've done, my brain like can't compute. Because like they're like, no, but you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's so like there are these like schemas. Yeah. And they like haywire.
Yeah, it's the exact same. I feel the exact same.
And it like, it just I get like depressed sometimes when good things happen.
Oh, there's nothing worse for me than getting what I want.
Right.
It is the pursuit is the actual pleasure. The achievement is nothing. It hurts. It legitimately hurts sometimes of being like, I had this outlandish idea that nobody thought I could do. And I was so intent on proving to everyone that I could do it. And then I did it. Okay, what now? You know, it's just like, I was talking to Missy from Mannequin Pussy about it the other day, where we're talking about like the satisfaction of releasing a song, the satisfaction of releasing an album. And it's like, that shelf life is maybe 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And it's done. There's no, I can't, like, what am I supposed to sit here and be like, we did it. We released the record. Like, no, it's done. It's out. It's done. That the work's done. There's nothing left. You know, doesn't last. It's bizarre, but it's hard because obviously you never want to be woe is me about being in a position that other people wish they could be in. But that's the thing is like, and I think the thing that ties the most to addiction and everything is that pursuit, and the idea why so many people in music, in art in general, get drug addictions is that they're looking for this thing to solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You get it and you're like, that don't feel good at all.
Yep.
So what's left? And then it's drugs and alcohol. That's it.
Yeah.
And so that pursuit goes that direction, of like, it's the trap. It's the trap of the thing. This whole thing is a giant trap.
Yeah. I guess you got to find other things.
Yeah. Hobbies, I think they're called.
Do
you have hobbies?
No, I don't have hobbies.
You just write all day?
Yeah.
Listen to music and write?
My work is my entire life. It's not healthy, and I'm not suggesting it to anyone, but
same.
I've been told many times I should get hobbies, and I just don't no, I don't care.
Yeah.
But there's other things though, I guess there's spirituality, or there's meaningful relationships,
Do you have a relationship with spirituality?
It's like on and off.
Yeah.
I'm like a sober person, so it's part of that dialogue. But I struggle with it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, some days I do, some days I don't. What about you?
I don't know what I believe in. I mean, I think that organized religion is evil. Wholesale, every single one. Fuck
I agree
off.
with that.
I hate it. It's the cause for most bad things in the world. But I believe in some degree of something, I guess. I definitely believe in karma. I definitely believe that when I do something bad, I see something bad happen in my life. And maybe that's also just me attributing every bad thing to then I want to be to blame for it.
Right.
I guess that makes me feel in control of it in a way where it's like, this is happening because in the 6th grade, I did this to this person, so I believe in karma for sure. I just do feel that the universe has like guided me in a way. Like Riley was somebody who came to our London show and tried, like he was sent by the label, but the label didn't tell our tour manager. And he wasn't allowed backstage. I didn't get to meet him. I didn't meet him that night. Maybe I don't think I was ready to meet him. I don't think that it would have been the correct impression. And then, at one point we had like settled on like, all right, fine, we'll do the record with this person. And then our label guy was like, just have this one last phone call with this guy. He wants to talk to you. Talk to him. And I'm like, it's already all out the window. I'm pretty sure we're going with this guy after one conversation. And, my friend David, who's here, like, hadn't talked to him in a long time, and he was sitting out front of the practice space as I was demoing, and I just walked out and I saw him, and then now we've been together ever since, like it just feels like the universe puts things together, and I try to pay attention when it's like a song that I keep hearing or, whether a person's name that I keep hearing, and then I run into that person or whatever else, and usually by being open to guidance.
Yeah.
Great things seem to happen from that.
I think the openness is a key to it, which is hard for cynical people. But when I remind myself, I think like there's a lot more signs, like the things you're talking about, that I'm just like not willing to recognize.
So it's interesting because like I definitely identify with cynicism, but I don't think I'm actually a cynical. I'm so much more of a hopeful. I'm more of an optimist than not. Like I do really well when things melt down and everything breaks and it's whatever plan I had is dead. Like I thrive in that environment, but it's like just the belief that something good will happen. It's kind of like that, like a little bit of the dangling carrot of just like the happiness is over there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you would have quit if you didn't have some fragment of hope somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember when I was first getting sober and like I just like hated all of the language, and I was, they're talking about, oh, well, like nobody's like hopeless and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm hopeless. I'm hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my terminal unique thing. Like I want to be hopeless. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm not a cynic either. There's some hope that keeps me.
I don't think you would do what you do if you're cynical, because like to be able to platform artists, to be able to do things like that. That's hope in something.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's also difficult because there has to be times that you have to feel compromised in platforming.
Yeah. Every day there's something that comes up.
It's very difficult.
I mean, it's a complicated industry.
Yeah.
It's not an easy industry to work in. But yeah, there's a lot of hope that, there's part of it, which is like, I want stability in my life.
Yeah.
But, and I don't have any other skills, but like, yeah, there's hope in like, okay, I have to do these things that may not align with my interests, my morals. First of all, like, it's not my company. Second of all, like, I get to write about these people that I do care about. I get to have these conversations that I do value. And I'm so grateful for that. It is very rare that people get paid to write about music in 2025. So I'm like blessed.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll take the compromises.
Yeah. And we all have to compromise. Life is, if you don't compromise, then you're probably just a dickhead. Like you're just an unrealistic person. Like, it's a part of life.
So what are you working on next? Aside from Happy? I
mean, we have more songs that we did record for the album. So,
right. So there was a lot of songs that didn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a song with Mannequin Pussy that I really love. We have another song with Daisy that I really love. So I don't know what we're going to do with those songs, but something will happen. We got to keep promoting these songs. Like, we really want to make a God Owes Me Money music video when we get home. I have an idea for a Daydream music video. So I'm kind of just trying to get the creative wheels spinning. My new happiness exercise, which is working, is that I literally just think of shots, like directing, like a shot, and how I would block it and where I'd put the camera. And like, I'm literally like simultaneously like seeing a scene act out and then being like, and the camera's here. Oh, what if it's here? And then I'm like seeing it. And that's how I've been falling asleep after the death spiral about the people who hate me.
Yeah.
I'm like, quit doing that. Let's go over here and try this. And I just really want to get back to directing. Like, I really, really love film, and I want to sharpen that craft and do it. Like, I moved to Los Angeles to quit music. I didn't know that. Pursue filmmaking. That was why, because I played in a blast beat hardcore band. It was music my entire life. Like, I would tell my grandparents, like, they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to tour for one more year, and then I'm going to go to community college, and I either wanted to be like a guidance counselor or a teacher or something. Like, I wanted to be something that meant a lot to me when I was a kid. Like, my counselors in school, like, I was always registered like as an at-risk youth, like the second I hit a school system. So they would go and put me into drug counseling instantly and all that stuff, even though I was straight edge at the time. And so I always wanted to do that. And so I was always just like, I kept saying the entire time I've been doing music, I'm quitting in a year. But music is like what spoke to me the loudest at all times. So I just kept going. But I was always saying to other people, I don't think I ever truly believed I was going to stop doing music. But, with playing in RJC and moving to Los Angeles, RJC was never meant to be a career or anything. It was just an artistic expression that was meant to go through the period of time in which my brother got out. And then we made another record together. Like, that was the obligation of that band. That was my goal. And I really want to work I want to direct a movie. I want to write movies. I feel like I have a lot to say in that space. And so, like, I really want to actually get to the point of getting there. The discipline is hard. I think you have to have so much more discipline in like writing on paper than you do writing music. When I make a demo, I could send it to you and I can get that dopamine hit.
Right.
Sending someone a scene? No fucking way. Nobody cares about that. Nobody wants to read your scene. So there's like no satisfaction and there's no guarantee it ever gets made. So it's like a really elongated timeline to get to the dopamine hit that you get of like listening to a demo. So it's very difficult to have that discipline because I think I am very instant gratification based in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Just in the way of listening to it. Because I'll sit on a song for 3 years happily. Because I think a song has to be listenable for that long for me to want to release it.
What kind of movie would you make?
Okay, so I'm going to start by saying what type of movie I don't want to make.
Okay.
Which movies now are all bullshit film school endings. Every movie is about a white guy that learns nothing. And I'm sick of it. Not on some woke shit, nothing like that. Movies used to make you feel good.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, like, even, like, I always point to Little Miss Sunshine because there's such darkness in that movie, but it's dressed up in bright colors. You know, they have their grandfather dead in the back seat. Like, Steve Carell just tried to kill himself. The kid can't get into the army, like, or the Air Force. Like, such darkness in that movie, but you laugh so hard and you feel so great when you finish it. And I just wish that movies had endings. You know, like, I feel blessed by seeing Weapons this year. Was like, that movie had an ending.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was incredible. Like, one battle after another had an ending. You know, like, I just want to make a movie that has an ending. You know, and the record is so, all of our records, like, they always end with a statement that ties up what the record is about and to make you feel like there's hope. And that is so important to me. So I just want to make movies that make people feel like there's hope. Like, I want to make something that can say something really fucked up, but do it in the same way that we do it. You know, like, we're delivering you misery in a fun package. And that's exactly the goal that I have for what I want to do with writing, is I want it to be misery in a fun package. But that makes you feel good about your life. That makes you, that you walk out and you think about whatever it applies to in your life, and you're like, you probably won't make a change, but you might muse at it for 2 seconds, you know? Like, that would be my goal. And I just really believe in the power of art, of media. Like, the idea that all this stuff has been neutered down to the term content is so disgusting. Like, no, this shit is art. Like, movies are art. Songs are art. Yeah. Like, it's not social media. It's art. And that's what I want to do. And even if it seems like it's stupid, like, it could be a slapdash funny comedy, like, still got to be art. So that's my goal.
Like, you could do it.
I think the money is the hard part.
That is the hard part.
The money is the hard part. That shit is dying. So
yeah,
we'll see we'll see in 5 years what exists of the world. Even I kind of don't believe any of it's going to continue, but we'll see.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a good place.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hell
this is fun. I'm glad that we did this.
Also, cosmically, had I not seen you on the street walking by, this wouldn't happen.
Miserable? Was that when you saw me and I was unhappy and you didn't say hi?
Yeah. Also, then I felt so bad after that conversation, being like, I shouldn't have said that she looked angry. Now she hates me.
Oh my God, no, not at all. Firstly, I usually look like that.
Yeah, I always look angry as well. So I relate.
But I'm sure I also was angry.
You're freaking, you're an editor. You got people to yell at, people to be disappointed with. Like, I feel you.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
That's it for this episode of AP in Session. Huge thanks to Ian for hanging out and digging deep into God Save the Gun. It's such a killer record. It's awesome hearing how much intention and emotion went into it. If you haven't checked it out yet, I suggest you do front to back. Let it hit you. As always, thanks for listening. And if you're into these kinds of conversations, make sure to follow Alt Press in Session wherever you get your podcasts. We've got plenty more coming your way. See you next time.